You'd made a substantial amount of money during your first boxing career before the decade-long retirement, but by the end of that decade-long retirement before you came back, how much money had you gone through and how close were you to being out of it?
I'd made millions in my first career, literally millions of dollars. And by the time 10 years had gone by, I realized that I wanted to do a lot of good, and it took money to do it. I did a lot of things with money, and I looked up and didn't have the kind of money I wish I had. And that was one of the reasons I had to make a comeback to boxing. I was no longer the wealthy boxer who had undertaken being an evangelist.
To what extent was that largely the reason, the fact that you wanted funding for the youth center? And
one day I was out playing basketball with one of my attorneys. And we were playing ball, but he wanted to be serious with me and didn't know what to do. He said, "George, you have this place, but you got to be careful. You may become one of those bad stories like Joe Louis, a guy who had so much money and lost everything. And, you know, this place is costing you a lot of money, the George Foreman Youth Center." And I thought about, I'd had Rolls Royce, convertible, I had swimming pools and homes. And here it is, I'm worried about having funds for this place that these kids need me. And that's when I decided I was going to have to do something, raise some money. And I decided right then, I know how to get money. I'm going to be heavyweight champion of the world again. That's how I'll get money for my youth center.
You were no longer able to use anger as a motivating force, as we spoke about. How did that impact things for you as you got back into boxing?
The first time around, I was angry, and I just didn't care. I mean, people booed me, and it was great because they were booing the right guy. I was a bad fella. The second time around, I had 10 years to make friends with people. You know, I thought you had to be rich and famous for people to like you. People would actually give me a booster when my battery had gone down, and I tried to pay them, "Get out of here, biggin." I'm offered the last piece of meat at the butcher store. Give it to the big guy. A steward would come up in a plane and say, "We can give you a bigger seat, big guy, but we can't give you a meal." All these people were kind to me, and I didn't have anything. They didn't even know who George Foreman was. They were kind. The second time around, I had all of this kindness to pay back, and it was very easy to change temperaments because of that.
45 years old, you end up winning the bout to become heavyweight champion of the world, oldest ever. 20 years after you had lost to Muhammad Ali in Zaire, the fondest memory from that fight would be what?
I'm in the ring fighting Michael Moore for the championship of the world, and once again, I didn't expect it. People were cheering for me. People were praying for me. First time around, everybody was praying for the other guy. Now, I'm a victim of prayer. And the fight is over. I get a knockdown, the 10th round. I looked around, satisfied my fans, because I said I was going to come back not for money, but to be heavyweight champ of the world. That's how I'm going to get my money. So I looked up, and I said, if I win this thing, I never talk religion on television, but I said, if I win this thing, I'm going to get on my knees and thank God right there. And I did. I got on my knees, and I thanked God right on the spot.